In this tutorial, I'll show you how you can make this really cute baby romper. First, I'm going to trace out my pattern. So if you watched my previous video, you will see that I skipped the pattern section and I felt a little bit bad about it, so I decided to show you how you can trace a pattern from an existing outfit. Here I'm using an old romper as my guide. Focusing on the bodice of the romper, I make marks around the back section first and then neaten out the lines with a curved ruler. I then trace out the front section on the same piece of paper, but you can trace this on a separate piece of paper if you want. After I've done this, I will use the same method for the shorts. It's important to note that if you are tracing a romper made with stretchy material but you are making one without stretch, you will need to add appropriate allowances to the sides of the outfit and a little bit to the top for comfort. I added roughly around 1.5 inches to each side of the shorts and the bottom of the bodice. I cut the bodice at an angle so that at the bottom it's wide enough to match the shorts but smaller on the top so it doesn't look too baggy. One thing that I should have done a bit better was that I should have made the crotch a little bit longer, because you have to take into consideration that the baby's going to be wearing a nappy, so you want it to be a bit more comfortable. So what I had to do is I had to add an extra piece of material because I didn't cut it long enough. So if you're going to make a romper similar, then I would give extra allowances at the crotch section. When cutting out the material, I cut the bodice pieces twice so I can use one for the lining. To assemble the bodice, I sewed along the shoulder first. I did the same with the lining piece. I then faced them right sides together and sewed around the neckline. After that, I cut small slits to ease the tension before understitching the neckline to give a neater finish. Facing the materials right sides together again, I repeated the same step but around the armholes. Now you may not be able to understitch all the way around the armholes, but go as far as you can. Now place the sides right sides together and sew a straight stitch. To complete the main part of the bodice, fold over the opening section twice and hem the edges. I'm then going to cross over the opening by 1 centimeter before sewing it in place. Moving on to the shorts, place the back sections right sides together and the front sections right sides together and sew along the center curve for each piece. I'm using an overlocker to join the two pieces together, followed by a straight stitch for a neater finish. Opening them out, I'm going to place them right sides together before overlocking and straight stitching the sides together. I also decided to overlock around the top of the shorts and the leg sections and hem them to make it look neater. Pin the bodice inside the shorts and then cut pieces of garter about 1 inch smaller than the baby's waist and thighs. To sew the garter in place, use a zigzag stitch and stretch and sew method. To decorate the bodice, I cut 2 pieces of material according to my preferred length and width. I overlocked the edges and base stitched along the length in order to create ruffles. Once deciding what I wanted to do with the ruffles, I gathered the material to my desired length and sewed it in place first, right sides together, and then I went over it with a top stitch. Off camera, I added my popper buttons along the opening of the bodice and the crotch. And there you have it, a really cute baby romper. If you like this video, don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell button for notification of when my next video will be up.